big game tonight. Looks like Phoenix is leading. That doesn't really say a lot there. A lot of us picked Phoenix. I'm glad Giannis is playing. That's awesome. This golf match, I don't know about you guys, but I cannot keep my eyes off of this TNT golf match. This celebrity Bryson Shambo, I guess is his name, with Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and, of course, Phil Mickelson coming off of a major win just a few months ago. So that's all interesting and fine and dandy. But speaking of the Patriots, N'Keal Harry. Now, this guy asked to be traded, and I'm thinking to myself, sir, you are a complete bust. So I'm looking at their depth chart, and they've got Kendrick Bourne, who's like a third or fourth receiver with the 49ers. Nelson Aguilar is also listed as a number one on the right side. Then you got slot Jacoby Myers. This team right here, this puts on more pressure for Bill Belichick to perform this year. He was the last draft, N'Keal Harry, from Belichick, where now that, second to last. This past year, basically Robert Kraft told Belichick that you need to listen to your scouts. We have not achieved this year. We have underachieved with the draft. Now, of course, you got Tom Brady now with this Tampa Bay Buck team. So this is a lot of pressure on Belichick. By the way, he's like plus 2,100 to get Coach of the Year candidate. He's about fifth or sixth. So this is a tremendous year for them. Now, I do think they're going to bounce back. And, you probably won't be able to get a fourth or fifth round pick. Fifth or seventh round pick for N'Keal Harry. He has just been a total mismatch. Yeah, NFL update. They put out players. Now I'm out of Nashville. You guys will not believe the players that were drafted behind N'Keal Harry in 2019. I mean, Deebo Samuel from the 49ers. A.J. Brown here in Tennessee is going to be a beast with Julio Jones. Miko Hartman from the Speedster with Kansas City. DK Metcalf. Terry McLaurin was in the 76th player overall. So that's what I always tell you guys about not putting too much into drafting a receiver that high in the draft. Marquise Brown was drafted at 25 ahead of him. That's Hollywood Brown. If he didn't have a guy like Lamar Jackson throwing to him, I think he would be much higher than that as far as his, and other players like Andy, Paris Campbell, Deontay Johnson, who looks to be the number one with Pittsburgh. So I just think that that was a reminder of how bad Belichick has been as a general manager. And this is a big year. Now, I do expect this team. Now, that'll be addition by subtraction. I expect New England to bounce back this year. I expect Belichick to be in the running for Coach of the Year. I think they'll probably get a wild card team. I like what they did. Like I said, if you look at Aguilar for what he's done with this Raider team, now Kendrick Bourne, I'm not so sure about. But Myers showed flashes last year. The two tight ends, Jonnu Smith, kind of overpaid for him. But I tell you what, Hunter Henry, great hands guy there. Smith will be more of a gadget guy. He's going to run a variety of routes there. So, yeah, I would definitely trade Harry. You're not going to get anything for the guy. But it's just a reminder for Belichick, that's another loss there. That's another reminder that your first-round pick was a dud. So Leave it up to the professionals there. I thought that was interesting. Other news out of New England is Mike Reese again. He's doubling down. This is the ESPN reporter out of that covers the Patriots. Pickles. He's saying that this Mac Jones. Now it is non-contact walkthroughs and stuff, but he's saying that this Mac Jones has really picked up on the playbook. He's got a good release. He's very confident. Josh McDaniels is high on him. The coaches are high on him. Kendrick Bourne has already complimented him. I think that if it's a tie, now we're going to come into this month. We're about three weeks and a few days. I'm thinking 3 weeks from Thursday. I want to say that training camp opens up pretty much everywhere in the NFL. And if it's a tie, this is what the precedent is. If it's a tie between Mac Jones and Cam Newton, they're going to go with They're going to go with Mac Jones. I don't think that'll be the case, but I didn't think that Russell Wilson would beat out Matt Flynn years ago with the Seattle Seahawks. I didn't think that was going to happen, but it happened. So don't be surprised if the Patriots don't go with this rookie to start over Cam Newton. I know Newton's more athletic. He can get you more in the running game. But if it's a tie, most coaches, Belichick included, they will go with the rookie quarterback. I'm telling you what, if it's a tie this fast, I would probably go with the guy with the higher ceiling, Mac Jones, too. I'll be surprised if he does start. I'm just saying that the Patriots are not a team that needs to sell drafting a guy at 15 like this. There's something to that, Pickles. And it just keeps coming out of New England. So they're an interesting team. Now, I just think that they're going to go far. So, in other news, Pro Football Focus, look at that, just went right off for no reason on my Twitter live here. But I'm just going to go back live and see if I can do it again. Let's see. See if I can go back live again. But I tell you what, Pro Football Focus on July the 1st come out with the best rosters coming into this season. And, and I was talking about this with my dad the other day, that Cleveland now is third on this list. Now, they've got Tampa as the number one team roster on this list. Now, I wouldn't disagree too much with that. I'm going to try to go back on Twitter Live. This seems to happen to me last time. It just cut off right in the middle of it. But Tampa seemed to Tampa has signed back everybody, and on top of all that, they've got Tom Brady. Here we go. I'm see if I'm going to go back here. So you look at the depth of their roster, bringing back guys like Levante David, and boy, this is really annoying. This is why I didn't go back on here. And those fellows like that. So only reason that I would agree with Pro Football Focus and not take Cleveland is because they got Tom Brady. And so yeah, that would be my case in point. Now, of course, they have gotten they've got Kansas City listed as 2 on their list. And, that is just saying they can't, 3-point game in Phoenix. Yeah. Oh, well, now it's an 8-point game at halftime. Yeah. I just think Phoenix is going to be too much for these guys. But I tell you what, though, uh, the real story here with this is Cleveland. Cleveland, according to Pro Football Focus, has the number one offensive line coming into the season this year. They are the number one offensive line coming into this season. I think this team is behind Tampa. I think they roster player for player, they're above. They're above a Kansas City. Now, Kansas City's got more higher end talent, better quarterback, better tight end, maybe the better athlete overall, and a Tyreek Hill. But if you look at the depth of Cleveland, I mean, they've got three tight ends. They've got Harrison Bryant. They've got Harrison Bryant as the tight end over a guy like David Njoku. And, of course, we know that they have a Austin Hooper at the other tight end. But coming into this year, Pro Football Focus has Cleveland number one offensive line, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. And you look at their receiving core, you can make an argument as a whole that they may be a top five receiving core. Now, Tampa's got a deeper receiving core with Mike Evans, Antonio Brown. Of course, the other guy there with Tampa there, the other slot guy. But with Higgins there, with Cleveland, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, and defensively, they have one of their best teams. I mean, they have filled in every hole that they had decisively. And like I said, the Pro Football Focus, I'm looking at this now. Best offensive line, biggest weaknesses was they're talking about the coordinator himself, but they picked up guys like Anthony Walker. You look at their defense, they drafted this Jeremiah Osawu in the second round. He was supposed to have been a first-round talent. Anthony Walker supposed to be an upgrade there. Malik Jackson, Billings, Andrew Billings, he's got a high grade from Pro Football Focus. And then, of course, you got Myles Garrett at an 86 rating. Jadeveon Clowney is supposed to be in the best shape of his life. Now, remember, on the secondary, they picked up John Johnson, Troy Hill. Got two of those guys from the Rams. So that makes the Rams that much more vulnerable defensively. So, I mean, you look, and then, of course, they've got guys coming back now from injury. Guys like Denzel Ward, that was on and off injured last year. Greg Newsom's got a high grade by Pro Football Focus. So that whole secondary is rebuilt. With Greedy Williams coming back, their safety play is going to be good. Like I said, they've picked up extra players at the linebacker position with Myles Garrett and, of course, Malik Jackson and Clowney right there. I mean, that's your front right there. Myles Garrett's going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate next year. So they're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage on both lines of scrimmage. It's all going to come down to Baker Mayfield. And there's been talk about his contract extension. But this year, now I know Cleveland fans, the closer we get to the season, the more pressure is going to be on Cleveland to win a lot of games. Everybody that I know of, most that I know of, are calling for them to win the AFC North. You still have a few that are loyal to the Ravens no matter what. But this is all going to come down to Mayfield not trying to do too much to develop that chemistry without forcing the issue to Odell Beckham. If this team plays within themselves, there's no reason why they can't win anywhere from 13 to 14 out of 17 games. They should be favored in just about every game other than maybe the opener against Kansas City. And like I said, Pro Football Focus has Kansas City's roster rated above them. But the top 5, again, Tampa Bay Bucks, of course, Tampa, number 1 roster in football, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, they brought back, they got Vita, Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, Levante David, Devin White. Their weakness would be their secondary. Now, Whitehead's played well, so was Winfield. But these 2 cornerbacks, Sean Murphy and Jamel Dean, that's their 2 weaknesses. But they have a lot of depth on defense. They've got depth at receiver. And here, on top of all that, Tampa has the 31st easiest schedule in the NFL. So a chance for them getting the 1 seed is pretty good right now. I think they're gonna be favored to get that 1 seed. Like I said, Kansas City's number 2. You've got Cleveland at number 3. These are best rosters in the NFL, position by position. Then, of course, number 4, according to this, is make sure. Now they've got Buffalo as number 4. Now Buffalo has a player coming back. They have star Latudewell as a defensive lineman. Now him and Ed Oliver are going to be playing side to side with Jerry Hughes. That's going to help them on their run defense. And they've also got an offensive lineman that's coming back from injury. This Cody Ford there, returning from injury, that's going to help them run the ball better. So they're just behind Cleveland. So these are the teams that I thought, I haven't broke down the schedule yet, but these are the teams that I think that are still going to go far. They just need to run the ball better. Cleveland just needs for Baker Mayfield to take the next step without having to try to do too much and turn the football over. But these are the teams that are probably going to go pretty far. Now, the Ravens are listed at 5. They have lost. They have lost 2 pass rushers. One of them went to the Patriots, and one of the other ones went to Matt Judon went to New England, and then of course Yannick Ngakoue went to the Raiders. They traded for him. Now they draft so well that Pro Football Focus is just saying that they're going to be able to makeshift those spots. Remember, they picked up a lot of wide receivers. So I think the Ravens are slightly overrated this year. Other teams in honorable mention, now they have, like Green Bay 6th. I don't believe that Green Bay is going to be that good. The Rams are 7th. The Rams are very top-heavy, kind of like Kansas City. Pro Football Focus is putting too much into them. And they've got Dallas as 8. I don't believe that. Dallas's defense is too weak. Minnesota's at 9. That's another team that I said that's going to be a big surprise team, a bounce-back team this year. And, of course, Denver, this is something that, Aaron Rodgers, they're playing this match game right now. This is something he'll probably read over. They're 10th, according to Pro Football Focus, as one of the best rosters in the league. Now, 49ers are 11th. I would put Niners ahead of some of these other teams that came out here. For instance, I would put them above the Rams. The 49ers have a deeper defense. They're deeper at receiver. Better offensive line as a whole. So, you got these guys at 11. I would put them above Denver right now. The 49ers are a team that their best players are still in their prime. Joey Bosa still in his prime. Armstead, you look at their defense there. Fred Warner, still in his prime. Javon Kinlaw stole this guy out of South Carolina. These are all just defensive linemen. Jimmy Ward has got a 73 safety. Jimmy Ward, this Tart guy, got a 70 rating there. Manuel Mosley, their secondary is better now, the 49ers, than it was the year they went to the Super Bowl with Richard Sherman. That's why they didn't bring him back. So this is going to be a sleeper team to look out for to potentially get to the Super Bowl. Now, Garoppolo, he's going to be the most motivated that he's ever been in his career. When you draft a quarterback like that, he knows he's going to be dotting his I's and crossing his T's. And Pro Football Focus has him as the 11th ranked roster. Again, it's way better than that, in my opinion. The offensive line, both tackles, their wide receiving core with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. They brought Mohamed Sanu. I mean, it's the best receiving core since Garoppolo has been there. Brandon Ayuk was him and Deebo Samuel. They're going to be rock solid. I mean, these guys are going to be great. I expect a big year out of them. Mostert, best running back that he's played with since he's been there. Since Garoppolo and Shanahan have been there, that's the best running back tandem. So, yeah, interesting story, though. Yeah, Pro Football Focus, I don't 100% agree with them, but I think what this does is this adds the pressure to a Cleveland and Buffalo, those teams, and everybody wants to see how well Buffalo can run. If Buffalo can run the ball, just a fair running game, they're going to be able to go the distance, according to Pro Football Focus. They've drafted some depth. They really didn't bring in a lot of free agents. Buffalo didn't. They just need a running game. I don't even think their defense is that bad. When you've got a guy like Josh Allen, who will be bucking for the MVP, in my opinion, and he was my sleeper to get the MVP last year, and he almost got it, Pickles. He very much well almost got the MVP last year. Okay? All right. Other news. Okay. Urban Meyer. I don't know if I got to this or not. I know that we talked about this on the Mac and Jack show. Urban Meyer was fired for contact in the having too much contact in these mini camps. And the team got fined $200,000. Urban Meyer got fined $100,000, I want to say, in this thing. And Paul Feinbaum was on ESPN the other day, and he said this about Urban Meyer. And, of course, it's true. This is a lot of I told you so, but this is stuff that I said when the guy got hired, okay? Yeah, and other teams got fired too. The Cowboys got fined, and the 49ers got fined for hitting during OTAs $100,000. So people are making it look like that Urban Meyer is this big rule-breaking guy, and there's some people just flat out don't like him. And one of those people is Paul Feinbaum. This was him on the jump the other day talking about Urban Meyer, if it'll come up. Basically, he's saying, I'm going to give it one more try to play this soundbite, and if it don't work, forget it. Nope, it's not going to work. Okay, basically, whatever Paul Feinbaum was saying, that he don't go by the rules. Urban is a guy that dances to his own drum. He's not used to being told anything what to do and what so have you. And that's all true. He's brought in Tim Tebow. They got criticized for that. He hired a strength and conditioning coach that was saying some racial remarks. He was fired from Iowa. This guy was the highest paid strength and conditioning coach in the country. Meyer just wanted to win. Got too much controversy, so he backed out of hiring this guy. He hired somebody else, the Tim Tebow thing, and now this. Now, I said this from the get-go. The over and under is 5 years. 6 years tops. He'll probably get this team to the AFC Championship game within the next 5 years. They may actually get to the Super Bowl and win it. He'll probably have a health issue. He'll have a fallout in the NFL, or both, and he'll be done. He's not going to stay over 5 years. I said that from the get-go. So basically what Paul Farmont said, this guy's going to flame out. Well, yeah, I said that from the get-go. He's not going to stay there 10 years. He's not going to stay there 10 years. He wants to challenge. He's watched Trevor Lawrence since he was probably a freshman. I would imagine he scouted this guy in high school in the recruiting wars. And like I said on the Mac and Jack show the other day, they're going to run the same Clemson offense that Clemson did with Trevor Lawrence. That's why they got that other running back, that ETN, that Lawrence played with. And, of course, you know they've got James Robertson there. They're going to run a quarterback and 2 running backs in the backfield. DJ Shark. They've got a fair offensive line. They're going to be in a lot of shootouts. They'll probably win 5 to 6 games. But like I was saying with Mac and Jack the other day, of course there's going to be a learning curve with Urban Meyer. This guy has won 2 national championships. He knows people. He knows personnel. The concepts in the NFL are much more like college now than they've ever been in the history of the game. So I do think Lawrence is going to play well, but I do think they're going to give up a lot of points. But that should be expected. You know, he's going to have a clean shot at Rookie of the Year. Clock management, that might be an issue early because it is different from the pros to college. For example, the clock stops on first downs in college. If you're running a 2-minute drill in the pros, the clock don't stop. Not unless you throw it out of bounds or spike it. So that's going to be a learning curve for Meyer. Little stuff like that, mismanagement early on. But as far as playing hard every week, you're not going to have that issue out of Urban Meyer coach team. They might be penalized, but they will be. They'll be ready to play every week. They may upset Tennessee. They may very well sweep Houston, and they may upset the Colts. They beat the Colts last year. But yeah, Urban he'll flame out. Yeah, he will definitely flame out. But that's after 4 or 5 years. And if you're a Jacksonville fan, that's all you can expect. You know, if he gets you deep in the playoff, you know, that's all I would want anyways. I mean, the guy's going to win games. It's just how much. And, you know, hold on, everybody. Let me change out my let's see where we're at here. 28 minutes. Let's go ahead and try this again. All right. So, oops. There we go, Pickles. So I thought that was pretty interesting there. Wanted to get that sound bite, but couldn't quite get it. Okay, other news. Speaking of football, the Dallas Cowboys will be back on Hard Knocks. They will be on Hard Knocks for a 3rd time all year long. It was supposed to be in the Carolina Panthers. And at the last minute, Dallas swoops in and gets the Hard Knocks invitation. And mind you, and I told you guys about this before, they've already also been on Amazon's All or Nothing series where the camera crews follow this team from the beginning of the season to the end. So that's 4 under Jerry Jones that they've been with. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. I thought that was pretty interesting there. What are the stats on this? Let's see. there was some interesting stuff I read about that. Yeah, NFL Hard Knocks, how the NFL teams have fared appearing on Hard Knocks. Of the 13 teams, 6 of them finished their season with winning records and with a few making deep playoff runs. Those stats are better than I thought. Could it cost them a game or two because of the lack of concentration? You're bringing in a young defense. You got a new defensive coordinator there. That is a lot to be thought about. But that's, I've talked about this last week. Dallas has got the most valuable franchise in the entire world. Their franchise is worth more than the Yankees, Barcelona, Spain football team, which is soccer, Madrid soccer team, Pickles. These guys are the most valuable, and they haven't won nothing. But that's all because of Jerry Jones' marketing ability for stuff like this. And Kathy said, are you still doing Sports Scope? She must have. I hope I didn't mess up. I hope she can see me here on just got a message from her. But anywho, okay, so yeah, I'll go back. I'll go ahead and talk about that now. So Rachel Nichols, Miss Wokester, she's, I used to really like her when she came out. She was hired by ESPN back in 2004. And man, she was great. Great NBA reporter, nice to the players. And somewhere about the time Obama got in there, she started jumping on this woke bandwagon because she saw that's how she can be on the good side of the far left-wing management with ESPN. And now it's caught up to her. It's caught up to her, and they're coming after her. And, but like I said, I don't really have a lot of pity for. Like I said, going back to the beginning here, there was a New York Times article on Sunday, and from last year in the bubble, a recorded conversation with Rachel Nichols stating that basically she's all for Maria Taylor getting hers and getting new jobs and diversity, but she don't want to get put off her job for it. And I don't see what's wrong with saying that. Now, this all happened after the George Floyd incident. And I told you guys that last week that there was a Maria Taylor is an up-and-coming star there. She's 34 years old, former basketball player, does a lot of NBA, does a lot of college sports with ESPN. And ironically, Pickles, her contract is up. So I did a lot of reading and investigating over the last few days with this. And it looks to be that there could be some reasoning behind her agent at CAA leaked this tape out from a year ago to the New York Times. Maria Taylor's agent, to make her look good, to make her look like a victim. And if I can find the actual recording, I will play it, everybody. I want to say, let me look on here and see. Email to me from TMZ Pickles. Yeah, I've got it. I've got it for you, everybody. Here we go, Pickles. This was from last year. A camera that accidentally recorded her, and then a producer who was a friend of Maria Taylor played this to Taylor. But how did this get out now instead of last year is some are saying perhaps Maria Taylor's agent did this. Okay. Just give me a second. Remember, I'm the producer and everything on this program, so we got to let the audio roll up here. All righty. Well, if it comes open now, if I wasn't listening to the program, it would come up no problem. But now that I'm listening, now I'm trying to get it to play on the program. Here it is. Because guess what that would go away for? For Maria to do the hosting. Yeah. So I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that, and I'm trying to figure out like how to just, my thing is I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which by the way I myself know personally from the female side of it, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You're not going to find it with me and taking my thing away. Yeah, so that was her talking about ESPN taking out one of her. Now here's her apology.
Journalism school is don't be the story, and I don't plan to break that rule today or distract.
This is her apology on yesterday.
But I also don't want to let this moment pass without saying how much I respect, how much I value our colleagues here at ESPN, how deeply, deeply sorry I am for disappointing those I hurt, particularly Maria Taylor.
That's her little cheesy apology. Now, normally, if I just heard that from Rachel Nichols, I'd say, yeah, that's kind of a BS thing to do. But it's leading questions like this from 2018 with LeBron James is why I don't have a lot of, pity for a Rachel Nichols. So once you start getting off of what you're supposed to do as a journalist, like she just said there, not make the story about you and actually ask questions that are related to sports and to journalism instead of to your agenda to fit in with a certain new culture at ESPN that started about, 10 years ago, before the evil orange man became into president. This stuff started, this far left-wing agenda has nothing to do with sports, started with ESPN, and she was a big part of it with the bathroom laws and all that, and taking the all-star game out of North Carolina because they didn't have a unisex bathroom, and she was all throwing all that, getting it all involved. So here's her in 2018. LeBron was told to shut up and dribble instead of open up a school. He tells me he has no regrets about criticizing Donald Trump for someone to try to divide us by using our platform of sport. Sport has given me everything I could ask for. I just let that open. So here's her question of LeBron James about LeBron getting criticized, saying shut up and dribble because he's speaking out of school on politics. And instead of asking her about the school, she wanted to ask LeBron to get involved and she wanted to debate him for the political stuff.
You were instructed to shut up and dribble, which is amazing because if you had listened to that, we would not be sitting in this school that 300 kids are getting the benefit of.
Absolutely.
But I want to backtrack off that because those comments came because you were critical of the president.
Right.
And I wanted to know why, while you do things like this, it's also important to you to use your voice to stand up for kids like that, even as high as criticizing the president of the United States.
Well, for me, I have a voice, I have a platform, and I have so many kids, and not only kids, but also adults and everybody that kind of look for guidance. and look for someone to kind of lead them in a time where they feel like their voice isn't powerful.
Yeah, so that's her little leading question. Now, on MSNBC, that's fine. That's propaganda left foot, and that's okay because that's what Rachel Maddow is. On Fox News, that's fine. If it's Sean Hannity and Tom and the president or whatever, that's fine because that's what he's an opinion guy. Rachel Maddow's opinion person, and yeah, that was LeBron's agent. See. And she tried to be the wokester, Steve. She tried to be Miss Wokester. She wants to talk about the evil white man, and she's always suppressed, and things aren't diverse enough. And she's had to work so hard to get that job at ESPN and yada, yada, yada. Then I find out her mother-in-law is Diane Sawyer. She married Diane Sawyer's son in 2001 and married into that family in 2001. In 2004, what do you know? She's at ESPN. And then she tries to lecture people on her politics because that's the culture at ESPN now. Now it's came back to bite her. So when all that stuff came out, Maria Taylor came out, her so-called friends and their kids threw her under the bus, see? And one of them was Jalen Rhodes' daughter. Listen to this. This is Jalen Rhodes' daughter, Mariah Rhodes. And he also is part of that toxic culture at ESPN. Listen up.
Because let's quickly talk about Ms. Rachel Nichols. Maria Taylor knows what a generational talent she is in the broadcasting world, so I don't even got to go there and hype her up. Let's talk about the fact that she actually played basketball. And if you want to go there, let's go there. Let's talk about how you're related to Diane Sawyer, arguably the queen of ABC.
Yep.
Nah. You got your job as one of the faces of ESPN because you're so entertaining and talented and so good at it, right? You are a woman in the sports world, and you sat there and you laughed about the Me Too movement, about your fellow women complaining about being sexually assaulted at work. You think that's funny? What really got me is you're tired of the Black Lives Matter movement because you weren't tired about posting about it or making your stupid little storybook monologues about it. Maybe instead of crying and calling Maria.
So when you jump on those politics to fit in, and then you find out who your real friends are. My advice to people like that, Rachel Nichols, be true to yourself. Don't be a phony. Do your job, and things will work itself out. Because you know who your friends really are. That's Jalen Rhodes' daughter, who also works at ESPN. And now there was some other guy that used to be on, like Dan Lebatard's got a new show now. He got ousted out of ESPN. Jamel Hill, all those other white people are bad people. They got ousted out of ESPN. And now they're on a different show. And this other guy named, he's got a weird last name. He used to be a reporter for ESPN. And now he's quit. But he was talking about guys like Adrian Wojciechowski, best NBA reporter in the game. They tried to get this guy from Yahoo. They finally got him from Yahoo Sports. And to fit in at ESPN, he started cursing out conservative Republican in an email, Josh, guy from Missouri, Josh Crowley, whatever the heck his name is, so he could fit in. Now, former ESPN employees are saying, no, this guy is racist too because he stepped over black people to get stories. No, the guy just actually outworks people, man. And I'm trying to see this guy's name. I want to say he was, his name is Aman Elsan. Aman Hassan. Eilhassan on the Dead Lab Tower show, and Jamel Hill, three great winners there, if you know what I'm saying. And they all in one side of their mouth, they say, "Oh, we like Rachel Nichols." The other side, we don't really know her that well. She might really be some kind of a prejudiced person, and yada yada yada. Well, this is what Jason. By the way, these people hate Jason. That's why I love a guy like Whitlock. He's a black guy. He's not a victim of anything. And he loves to call out the hypocrisy of these people. And he wrote a great story about this, about how he thinks that Rachel, that this, whatchamacallit here, has, I can't even find it now. He thinks she leaked this story out. She had her, basically had her bosses leak this story out. Her agents, Maria Taylor. Now, I'll say this. If it's me, because it was one thing, Nichols, her credibility has been shot when she went woke on me like that. When she got away from being a basketball reporter, her credibility has been shot. But Maria Taylor, who I said last week, this is reported, wanted $8 million for Stephen A. Smith kind of contract when she's only 34 years old. Rachel Nichols, 10 years older than she is. Okay? If her agents did that, and that's what Whitlock is getting at, if her agent or she leaked this out, I would let her walk. And I would do away with Rachel Nichols too. You got to get rid of this. I'm trying to see if I can find it. He had a great story out about this. And I'm trying to see. Yeah, and I cannot find it. It was in my storyline. Basically, that's what he's saying. He thinks that she's won the victimhood Olympics. It's who's the bigger victim? Maria Taylor's black and a woman, so that's 2 victim cards she's got. Rachel's got 1. So if you're with ESPN and you really don't believe that nonsense that they've been pushing for years, don't try to fake it and be woke. They will turn on you. They will turn on you. Just be yourself. Stay out of it. Work hard. And these parasites will filter themselves out. The karma will come back to them. People like Jamel Hill, she's gone from ESPN. Dan Lebitard, he's gone from ESPN. That's this Iman guy. He's a hater. He's gone from ESPN. That ridiculous John Skipper, that left-wing maniac president, he's gone from ESPN. They eventually, all that cancer will get out there. And if I was running ESPN, I'd cut the rest of that cancer out. That's Jalen Rose. Hey, man, there's a door. Don't let the door hit you. Will the good Lord split you, okay? And let's get back to just talking sports. You know, Stephen A. Smith, you got one smart mouth thing to say, politically or social justice, you better have a good point. Like I was saying last week, if you want to say something about these football players or not having enough black coaches, that's fine. We'll give you some data on that. But you come out some smart mouth, random, that's white privilege, you're fired. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. People come to sports to get away from that stuff. Like Jay-Z said, I came to the club to get that off my mind. People come to sports to get that off their mind. Now, if Rachel Nichols wanted to be 2004 Rachel Nichols and just talk about human interest stories, the players' journey to get to the NBA or the NFL, the coach's journey, that's fine. But to get all these social issues and these far left-wing fake issues that she's always been on, no. If you want to be an activist, go to the Atlantic, go back to the Washington Post, start your own media company, and there's plenty of audience over there for that garbage. I was listening to Jamel Hill, which is a very brilliant person, in sarcasm, I'm saying, the other day. And she said, no, today, during this interview, Jamel Hill says she was on a podcast and a show with Dan Lebitard. And she says ESPN should have, since most of the players, listen how racist this is, Pickles. Jamel Hill still says most of the players says most of the players, since they're black, that the people calling the commentators should be black. Now, I'm thinking to myself, what if I said most baseball players are Spanish, so you should have Spanish commentators, or most hockey players or people from Russia and white and European, maybe you should have mostly white and European commentators. That's what Jamel Hill said today. So she thinks that she's totally right for saying that. She's totally right. You know what I'm saying? Get that Eric Dickerson money. Sold everybody out when he said get money like Eric Dickerson. That's now, yeah, Jay-Z said all kinds of crazy stuff. I was just using that. He said that in a song because people were telling him about, my point was when he's going to a nightclub to look at, this is before he met Beyonce and everything. He said in one of his songs, he said, man, I go to the club to look at good looking women, to talk, to party, to drink, to have fun. I don't want to hear about your personal problems at the club. I don't want to hear about your guts and glory. I just want to have a good time. You know, I came to the club to get that off my mind. We come to sports to get all that garbage off our mind, Rachel Nichols. See, like I said, again, Diane Sawyer is her mother-in-law. So I have no pity for Rachel Nichols. Now, again, if Maria Taylor, if she leaked this out purposely, and I would do an investigation because she's very talented. I like Maria Taylor. I think that she's probably gotten some bad influences on her that's caused her to go this way. But if her agent did this, if she instructed her agent to do this, I'd say, I was reading today that NBC's interested. I would say go to NBC. We want to get that negativity out of here. And by listening to different interviews and different takes from former ESPN employees, I finally got what I think the problem is. And my understanding is, listen to people on both sides politically. Jason Whitlock's more on the right, Jamel Hill's on the left. They both said the same thing about ESPN. They said their management is weak. When I was working my security job, we had guys that were really nice guys, that were nice managers, that were air quote nice people, but they were weak. They were weak. They would not. They would let problems fester because they did not want to offend anybody. Now, me personally, I you know, my dad taught me how to stand up to. If I see a toxic environment in my workplace, when I was a manager, I'll say, listen, I'm writing you up and you go over here and you work over there. If I hear another word out of you, I'm writing you up. Okay. Done deal. Cut it off. You deal with problems early and you cut them off and you have a strong iron fist. You don't try to make people happy because you're afraid to offend people. You have an iron fist. You have a stern warning early. You're fair. I'm fair. Always fair. Some of my best workers were people I didn't like personally. I've told this story before. One of my best workers, this guy patrolled, I was over state parking lots, this parking lot, downtown Nashville, huge parking lots. This guy would give tickets, and he was very organized, always on time, perfect uniform. Guy had no personality. He was very obnoxious guy to be, but he was a good worker. The guys that I like to hang out with and maybe go out and have a drink with or something, a lot of those guys were coming in late all the time. You know, I had to tighten it up on them, even though I personally like them. But that's the problem. ESPN they're soft on people. They're too afraid to hurt anybody's fit. They're too afraid to offend anybody. Just be very clear. We're here to talk sports. We're here to talk human interest. I don't want you selling me on my politics, and I don't want you selling the listeners on your politics. We don't want to hear about your social justice. We don't want you tweeting about this stuff. We don't want you going to any type of social media on this stuff, okay? It's bull crap. if you want to do that, start your own media company. This is what made ESPN great. Stuart Scott in the 90s. Guys like that. Linda Cohn's people like Linda Cohn. She's great to listen to. Susie Colbert. She's really good. And for the most part, Maria Taylor, other than this. So I don't know. I mean, it's just heck of a coincidence, Pickles, that this came out after that. This all came out when she's wanting Stephen A. Smith money. And I'll say this, opinion people get paid more money than reporters. You can find reporters out of college. You can find them anywhere. And I mean, you can't hardly find Adrian Wojciechowski, but for the most part, analysts, sideline reporters, you can find them anywhere. Opinion people that have followings come back to them, those are hard to come by. That's why Howard Stern makes a lot of money. The late, great Rush Limbaugh makes a lot of money. Stephen A. Smith makes a lot. Colin Cowherd makes a lot of money. Clay Travis made good money. Guys like that, people with strong opinions, they're harder to come by because they have reoccurring audiences. And in radio, they say you got to be able to push your audience to an advertiser. So that was an interesting story there. Other news, folks. Nate McMillan signed a 4-year deal. I think that was great for Atlanta. Trevor Bauer, Dodgers, they wanted to take a chance. And, this guy had been known to have temper problems. Pickles, he was the guy who threw the ball over the fence in center field. Dodgers sign him for a 3-year project. Now he's accused of sexual assault, and now they have suspended him there. High risk, high reward. It kind of reminds me of Chicago and the foot basketball taking Dennis Rodman, in a way. Kind of a hothead kind of guy. Just going through some other things here. This random. What else? Oh, we're talking about the college thing. Hold on, everybody. Let me change out my tablet one more time. Okay, now I can relax a little bit more now. Looks like I was tight on time earlier. The NIL. I think the NIL is a great thing. I know that Pickles and those guys, choked the girl. I mean, that looks terrible for the Dodgers. Dodgers got Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, Clayton. You don't want to mess all that up. You kind of got greedy with Bayer, and now you're paying for it. Mac and Jack, those guys were saying that on the show that they think the NIL is going to cause a lot of disasters, and I don't think it's going to cause that many for the young people. I think there's going to be more good news stories come out of it. The 90 players on Miami Hurricanes got $6,000 endorsement deal. That's huge for a college student. That's huge. $2 million for Percy Miller with a technology company. That is Master P's son, TSU, right up here in Nashville. This guy, he still wants his own money. We know Dad's got money, but it feels better when you make your money. This guy could very well have an injury and never be able to play basketball again. And he still got that money off of his likeness. So I thought that was pretty cool, guys. DeMar DeRozan, there's trade that talks that he might go to the Lakers for Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma has been talked in multiple trades. The Lakers will be active. Kawhi Leonard is supposed to opt out next month in August. Dallas is a big player for him, and so is Miami. So that's going to be good, interesting to look at. I think that a guy like Kawhi Leonard to go play with a Luka Doncic should take a 6 seed to a 3 seed. Basketball is going to be great in the offseason. I know we've got, it looks like Phoenix was winning last time I checked, but we're in the second half. Everybody, I appreciate everybody watching the show tonight. I had a good audience here. Y'all must have liked that Rachel Nichols stuff here. Pickles. Yeah. 96, 83. Now, Trevor Bauer, Pickles asked me, he probably should go to jail. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be in some trouble. He's had a temper problem. That's what you get. That's the high risk reward. Now, Dodgers got enough money. They could get out of it if they needed to. I'm pretty sure. But as far as the NBA is concerned, this is going to be a great offseason here. With Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, there was a report that he has officially requested to be traded from Portland. So that's a story to follow. So the NBA is in a good place. You just want to get ESPN at a place where you're not dividing people, that you're simply bringing it like the 90s, where people just want to watch the games and follow the storylines. The storylines are good. I know we had injuries this year. Bauer may very well be the issue with him. And, of course, the 76ers are filling offers for Ben Simmons when Daryl Morey says that they're going to keep him. That is crap. They're just saying that for his stock value. Those are stories I'm going to monitor every day. I love these off-season trade stories. Durant's going to be back next year. James Harden's going to be back next year. It's going to be a fun season to watch coming into next year. Again, the NFL, we are not 9 weeks from Thursday will be NFL Week 1. I was going over the best rosters. That story that the Pro Football Focus ranked NFL best rosters. Number 1 is Tampa. They have the 31st easiest schedule in the NFL. I don't know how that happened. And the best roster. Now, number 3 roster is the Cleveland Browns. They are a major sleeper to get to the Super Bowl next year. The Cleveland Browns, who would have thought? So if you guys like the show, share the show. If you want to contribute to the program, I'm going to get this Patreon page up eventually. I need to do that. That's got to be a focus. But you can download if you want to donate through the ZELLE app at Sports Scope. The word sports, the word SKOPE at gmail.com. You can donate to the program. Subscribe to the YouTube page, guys. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Follow me here on Facebook if you got a Facebook. Sports Scope with the K. YouTube, subscribe to that. I would greatly appreciate that. I've got a good audience tonight. So have a good night, everybody. I will be back here on Thursday around 9 p.m. Central Time here on Sports Scope. Thank you, Pickles. Y'all have a good night. I will see you Thursday around 9 p.m. Central Time to talk about whatever's going on in the wide world of sports that day. Maybe N'Keal Harry will get traded. Maybe Rodgers will come back. Rodgers was talking about that today, kind of hinting around during this match that he might come back with the Green Bay Packers. I'm kind of got a feeling that he's going to come back into camp. So, but we'll talk about it either way Thursday. Have a good night, everybody.